Hi, good evening. I'm Blanca Castro, and I'm with AARP California. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening and participating in a Tele-Town hall. We want to talk tonight about the importance of caregiving. I'm pleased to be joined this evening by the theologian Felipe Agredano. He's a frequent contributor to the national networks such as Univision, NBC Telemundo, Los Angeles Times, La Opinión, and the Harvard Crimson. He will be sharing his personal story as a caregiver. I also want to say that we are joined this evening by Grace Avila of the USC Family Caregiver Support Center at the USC Davis School. The center's mission is to help families and the communities master the challenges of caring for older adults and brain-impaired conditions and older adults with multiple health concerns. Now, this is a very interactive call, so we encourage people who are on the phone to please, you will have an opportunity to listen, but we want you to ask questions to the guests and to both speakers for this evening. So throughout the call, you can just press *3 on your touchtone phone at any time if you want to ask a question or a comment. We have screeners who will take that question. Again, that's *3 to ask a question to one of our experts. So I'd like to welcome those of you on the phones that have joined our live Tele-Town Hall Forum. As a nonprofit, nonpartisan social mission organization, AARP is in your corner, fighting on issues that matter to you and your family, such as improving services for family caregivers, wanting more support for caregivers, and help at home with the workplace protections, training, and more. So we're going to provide some useful information during this call, so please find a pencil and a piece of paper that's available to take down some important, critical information. So again, I want to remind everybody who's listening tonight, throughout the call, we're encouraging you to press *3 on your touchtone phone if you want to ask a question to one of our experts. So before we turn to our first speaker, I just want to give you some brief background information about California and caregiving. There are currently about 4 million unpaid caregivers in California. Every day, this silent army of Californians performs a great labor of love. They care for their aging parents. Some are caring for their spouses, for their partners, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and friends, so that they can remain in their homes. This may be you. So AARP and the Ad Council recently launched a new set of public service announcements called The Circle of Life. AARP and the Ad Council were very proud to do this because today we recognize that in order for Latinos to see themselves as caregivers, they also have to recognize that they can get help. So this is one first step in today's Caregiving Tele-Town Hall, is a way that you can be informed about some of those services available. This call will give you an opportunity to share your story. You're among many of the unsung heroes in California. When you care for someone who needs help with daily activities, or you're being cared for by a family member or friend partner, we want to hear from you. We want you to let us know, what are the barriers? What are the challenges that you're having to help you do the job that you're doing? After the call, we're going to urge that you share your personal caregiving story on our website, AARP website. The website is www.iheartcaregivers.com. I will spell that for you. IHEARTCaregivers.com. Also, the Caregiving Resource Center, you can contact them, and there are 2 numbers I'm going to give you. One of them is English speaking, 1-877-333-5885. That's 1-877-333-5885. The other is for people, if you want a Spanish-speaking person to talk to, and that would be 1-888-971-2013. That's 1-888-971-2013. I will repeat those numbers closer to the end of the call. But at this time, let me welcome one of our expert speakers this evening, Theologian Felipe Agredano, who is also a family caregiver, and he's here to tell and share his personal story for both of his parents. Felipe, would you like to offer some remarks?
Yes, first of all, it's an honor to join you, Blanca, Castro, and the audience here at AARP in this town hall. I want to thank also Stephanie Ramirez of AARP for inviting me. I can share a little bit about my story. I'm very fortunate and thankful that I have my sister Denise, who lives with and is a caregiver for my father, Jose, and my mother, Luz Ramona. I share the responsibility as an unpaid caregiver with my brother, Obed. We both help our sister Denise, and the three of us take care of our elderly parents. We balance our full work schedules. We incorporate personal time, and we're designating time to take care of our aging parents. We coordinate schedules around doctor visits. We make sure that they are healthy, that they eat well. Nutrition is very important to help. So we help shop for them at the market with their personal hygiene. We make sure that to bathe them, trim that hair, or take them on to hair appointments or their nails sometimes too, to make sure that the house is clean, their clothes are washed, and make sure that they also have time for recreation, for the park, and as well as church on Sundays. We grew up with the notion of honoring our parents, and this is expected of us to take care of them too. It's sacred, and at the same time, it's also a very simple way to giving back and blessing them for all they did for us. So for me, it's an honor and a blessing, but of course, it's also a lot of work for us to do.
Yes. No, absolutely. And as you know, many people don't see themselves as caregivers. It's just something that we do. Before we take the next, the first question from the audience, I would like to, so thank you very much, Felipe, and I'd like to now introduce Grace Avila, who is a family care navigator at the University of Southern California Family Caregiver Support Center. So Grace, would you like to just give a few opening remarks, please?
Yes, I just wanted to also say thank you to AARP and to you, Blanca. And thank you, Felipe, for sharing your story, your support network of story of family caregiving and sharing the responsibility. But most importantly, I also wanted to thank all the callers, all the family caregivers, the caregivers calling tonight, setting aside some time to be with us tonight, to really listen to us. We know that this is usually an important time in the evening to get our loved ones ready for bed, and sometimes it can be quite stressful trying to balance everything throughout the day. And just putting aside that time to joining us, I really do appreciate that, and thank you so much. But yeah, I'll share a little bit with you guys as well, the audience as well, that although I am not currently a primary caregiver, I had helped in the past with both grandparents. With my grandfather a few years ago, bathing, feeding, using insulin shots, and also about a year ago with my grandmother providing bathing as well when she suffered her stroke about a year ago or so. So I have some idea as to what it is to try to balance a full work schedule and also trying to fit in those caregiving duties as well. But it is also an honor, and thank you, and thank you to the audience as well.
Well, and we do have Jennifer Alpizar, who has a question to pose, and so Ms. Alpizar, you are live. Would you like to ask your question to our speakers, please?
Oh, I thought this was supposed to go through the operator first. I was just kind of wondering why this call is geared to Latinos. Why isn't it geared to everyone?
That's a very good question. And first of all, we have had other let me just remind the folks on the phone, if you want to pose a question, please, on your phone, just press *3. That's *3, and then we will get you into a queue so that you can pose a question to the speakers. So the question was, why is this targeted towards the Hispanic Latino community? And I can address that, and that is that we have actually had other Tele-Town halls that have been reaching the general market and other ethnic communities, and we've wanted to make sure that we recognize that everyone has, even in their own culture, a perspective or opinions about even the role as a caregiver. And in the Hispanic Latino community, and I can speak from personal experience myself, is that oftentimes first of all, we don't even have a word in Spanish for caregiver. It is not something that we do. It's something that is part of our life. It is an honor. It is how we care for our elders. And so it really is just addressing the fact that it's important to recognize that while this is an important role, you don't need to take this journey by yourself. There are resources available for people who are caring for a loved one that might have a lot of conditions, medical conditions, where they need 24/7 care. And as our speakers, Grace and both Felipe, talked about, they're helping their parents. They help the parents with their bathing, taking medication. They have diabetes, so they might have insulin. So these are a lot of things that they wind up doing. But again, it's not necessarily that you recognize you might need help.
Can I address a question as well?
Yes, absolutely.
This is what I have learned from my brother, who is a licensed social worker, and this is also not only a cultural issue in the Latino community, but it's also a public policy issue. My brother Obed has done 10, 15 years of work working in geriatric studies, and have seen how as the size of the Latino community grows and ages in numbers, there are some cultural challenges that we have before us. Part of it is, as Blanca mentioned, is that Latinos really take this on, this burden of the work to take care for the parents, and it's expected in the Latino community to take care of them in their home. The challenges are that there are already not enough institutionalized centers, nurses, doctors, providers that speak Spanish, that are comfortable of the cultural nuances in the Latino community, and Latinos are not that comfortable in taking their parents and institutionalizing them. So as our Latino community ages, we want to keep our parents in our homes instead of taking them to group centers. And if we're going to grow and if we're going to age, and that our parents also need institutional centers, they need also assistants, social workers, nurses, doctors and these doctors are already rare and few, and now they're going to be expected to do a lot of home visits to visit Latino parents as we keep them in our homes and not taking them to institutional centers. So that's going to create, in terms of public policy, a bigger stress on the healthcare system and the social system, because the parents need that healthcare assistance. Sometimes in their culture and their language, they need social services. They need to socialize, and it's creating a challenge, and a cultural challenge for Latinos. I don't know if that addresses the question also to the caller.
Well, we have another one, and I think that's important, is to, again, Jorge Prado. Jorge Prado from Los Angeles, do you want to ask your question? You have both parents and grandparents who you're caring for.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, who are you talking to?
Jorge Prado?
Yes, this is me.
Yes. Hi.
I'm hearing from my mom.
Okay, and did you have a question for Felipe
or actually, I was
Grace?
surprised I was taking so quick. I thought there were more people on the line with questions. Thank you. Yeah, my question is, for your experience, I have, on the opposite, I have a mom that's very independent, and she's 84 years old. Does not want to live where she lives.
Okay.
And I share my care duties with my three brothers, and we have a hard time getting her to the doctor on time, getting her her food.
And so what is your question?
My question is, on that base, what will be the best issue for us through AARP to get her help, in-house help, through some sort of service to come in and, like say, a visiting service that would keep her on time other than family?
So we have Grace Avila, who is with the family. She's with USC Family Caregiver Support Center. And Grace, do you want to?
That's what my question was to the panel, not just to him.
Yes. So Grace, do you want to answer?
Yeah, definitely. Within Los Angeles County, there are different agencies that you can actually reach out to. One of them could be the USC Family Caregiver Support Center. So essentially, just because of the fact that everyone's caregiving situation is quite unique. So one of the things is trying to get that assessment completed with your family members involved so that we can see, or what other social workers can see, how to better address this particular issue. So one of the things is getting in touch with, like I said, a local caregiving agency, a local caregiver support agency within your particular community. I just happen to say USC because we cover the whole county of Los Angeles, and that's something that's free of charge. You can definitely give us a phone call, and we'll be more than happy to address this particular issue. It's important to find those specific resources within your community, especially when we're working with multiple family caregivers, people who share the responsibility of caregiving. We want to make sure that everyone's all on the same page. But the first thing I would suggest is to assess the caregiving situation so that we know, or so that the agency knows, how to better help you as the family caregiver to alleviate any additional stresses, and also to help your mother in the long run, or the person that you're taking care of in the long run as well.
So is there a number that you want to give?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So the number that I was going to provide is toll free. So the number that you can call is 855-872-6060.
You want to repeat that? 855?
Yes, it's 855-872-6060.
And that's the USC
Family Caregiver Support Center.
Okay. They do make visits at home. Because that's my issue is, because she does not want to go. I've been trying to get her to a daycare center and places like that, and she does not want to do that. And I want her to go ahead and participate in classes where,
right, she can be with other people.
Stuff like that, and she gives us. And I hate to have her home alone in the days that we don't take her to the doctor. She may miss her medicine on purpose, because she's the type of person that been known to be tripped, just not to spend money on her medicine.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your question, Mr. Falcon. We've got to get other calls, so thank you for joining us. All right. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another caller that Sylvia Carranza, who says, sometimes we have to keep our parents at home, but sometimes they have to go into a nursing home. So, what do you have to? How do you want to address that?
Well, I don't know, Felipe, did you want to address this issue, or I did? Okay.
And let me just remind the audience, again, *3 on your telephone if you have a question or you would like to ask one of our speakers this evening, who we have Theologian Felipe Agredano and Grace Avila, who we are talking to about family caregiving.
So addressing the issue with, of course, all of us want to keep our parents at home for as long as possible, but we ourselves as caregivers really need to look at our own limitations and figure out, are we able to do this for the long run, and also at what point are we considering placement if this is a future possible concern. So we really need to start looking at ourselves in terms of caregivers, what our limitations are, what are we willing to do, and also look at our loved ones' health and how they're doing. If their health is failing and you're overworked, stressed, then we really do need to start thinking of maybe possibly placement, if placement's not an option, maybe home care. So there's a lot of different avenues that we can look at. But like I said, one of the things is we really need to specifically assess the specific individual situation to figure out what's going on in the home, who is there in terms of support, what duties can these individuals provide in terms of caregivers, like the brothers and sisters or the siblings or the daughters or the sons. What are they able to provide in terms of caregiving? And then if there's any holes or gaps, then we can consider maybe possibly home care. If home care is not an option because it's too costly, and then maybe placement if it's something that you're willing to do so and everyone's all on board, then that's something that we will eventually have to face. And these are all things, like I said, with the agency that we go over and we counsel on, because, there's different ways to look at placement issues and how to know when is the appropriate time to do so.
So I have... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just reminding everyone that it's really looking at you as a caregiver or those who are providing the caregiving, and also looking at your loved one's current state of health.
Okay.
And going from there. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Grace. And I do have a caller that does have a specific question. We have a couple of them. I'm going to open the line up for Lucy. She's in Los Angeles. She's taking care of her 86-year-old father who needs help. And what's going to happen when he gets worse? What does she do? So she is on the phone. And Lucy?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So
okay.
Felipe or Grace, did you want to respond to that question? What could Lucy do when her dad gets worse?
Sure.
Can I just give you just a little bit of background information? Okay, I'm a registered nurse and also a single mom. I had to quit my job in May because Dad had a stroke, and he's a diabetic and he has heart problems. He's quite sick, but he still walks, and his mind is fine. He's just slow and forgetful. Anyway, he cannot be left home alone. So I quit my job in May, and I've been staying with him because I'm the only family he has. I don't have any support systems. I have no siblings, so it's me. Now, everything is okay now, but I have a job interview on December 30th because our money, we cannot make it right now. We just cannot make it. So if I go back to work, I'm going to have to work night shift, 3 shifts, 3 nights a week, which is 12 hours each. And during that time, he should be okay. However, if he should get worse and becomes bedridden, are there any agencies I can get help from? Because I spoke to a social worker from Kaiser Permanente where he has his insurance, and they told me that the least expensive babysitter or home care person is $15 an hour, and I could not possibly afford that.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, Grace, do you want to address that in terms of where some people can turn to?
Yeah, I'm so sorry that, you had to quit your job. I hear this all the time when I'm taking in calls and speaking with new clients on the phone. But in terms of you're looking towards, like, the future, knowing that, when father gets worse, who's going to be there, especially that you have to go back to work. And one of the things is getting linked up to as many community agencies that offer respite assistance. So the key word is respite assistance through nonprofit community agencies, whether it be a specific disease association like Alzheimer's Association, the Family Caregiver Support Center. But with that said, it's not immediate. These are, publicly funded, grant-funded agencies that also, we have wait lists. There's things of that nature. And yes, home care is pricey. So one of the things when we're looking at home care is, like you said, going through an agency, you cannot be able to afford it, at least for the long run, you can't. And one of the things, if there's a close neighbor or a personal recommendation from someone from church or someone that you know that you can trust, whether it be another relative or, like I said, a friend who is able to help you out in that capacity, is what we look at. The other thing is, so that's one thing that you can look at. And the other thing that we try to investigate is whether or not father or mother qualifies for public benefits as well. I'm looking at all that criteria. And
he
even
doesn't.
And even
do you know why he doesn't? Yeah, he doesn't qualify for much because we have a home that has 4 apartments. I live in one, and he lives in another, and the other 2 are rented out to 2 little old ladies for very low rent because they've been here for forever. Right. And I mean, I'm talking low rent because Dad and I we're living on about $3,000 a month, and we can just make it on that. But when it comes to property tax and other things, when that starts to happen, then it gets extremely tight. And so I have to go back to work. There's no option. I just, but anyway, if he should get sicker, I'm thinking maybe I should just, maybe I can afford to have him placed, but it'll mean that I'll have to give my entire salary to that and, see what we can live on with these little rents. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the things, like I said, try to reach out to your local community caregiving support agency. We also want to make sure us being family care navigators or social workers in the field is that you also need to protect your future. A lot of times, especially as Latinos, because the sacrifices our parents or grandparents have made, we'll do anything, right, for our family members, but we also have to be smart. We have to be very smart with our own financial situation because we will eventually get at that stage. We don't know.
And I forgot to tell you, I'm 58 years old, and I'm at an age where it's very hard to find work. I know ageism is out there. So I'm hoping, I can get a job at this hospital where I applied that has called me for an interview. Because if I stay home with him another 2 or 3 years, by then I'll be over 60, and it'll be so much harder to get employed at that age. So I do have to think about that because I have to think about my own retirement. Who am I going to turn to?
Definitely.
So it's a tough thought. Go ahead.
This is Felipe. I wanted to echo that my brother and my sister and I, we are at that point where we sometimes when the father has to go to the hospital or mom needs to go into a center, sometimes when they get like a pneumonia or some kind of illness, we constantly reevaluate that and see how are we going to continue to sustain this. And part of the equation is also reaching out to our own social circles, to our extended family members, to our neighbors and friends, and say, hey, can we ask our cousin, or can we ask our tia, or can we ask our friends even from church, can they stay with them on this Saturday? We rotate our schedules, and you're absolutely right. We're also considering, how do you take on an extra part-time or an extra client, or to grow and to take care of their care, and to be able to sustain it, because we have to consider all the different options. So we try to look at all the different resources that are available to us and make decisions and evaluate every single time.
So, Lucy, I do want to give you the Caregiver Resource Center in Los Angeles, the phone number for that. And the telephone number is toll-free 800 540-4442. That's 800-540-4442. We are going to need to get to another caller right now.
Can you just give me the www.iHeartCare? What was that again? Yeah.
That's where we want you to share your story, and that is www.iHeart Caregivers, CAREGIVERS, that's all one word, .com. Okay? Good luck to you, Lucy. Thank you for your call.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
We have Manuel Granados, who is in San Pedro, and he wants to know about, how do people access mental health services for caregivers, for somebody who is caring for a loved one. And I think this is a very important question, as you both know, and you just said it, Felipe, we often don't take care of ourselves, and there is nothing wrong with asking for help. It can be overwhelming, it can be very scary, and a lot of times the behavior that our loved one is exhibiting is very different from what they used to be like when they were younger. So I think this is an important question for our callers, and it's Manuel. He's on the phone. So
yeah, thanks for the phone.
So go ahead. Yes.
Would you like to start with that one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, I just calling because it's been very difficult because the drugs get her in altered moods and also my mental health because I get exhausted. I quit my job. I'm not working. Well, I only work a couple of days a month anyway, and so I've been taking care of her, but it's just exhausting. It made me ill. I became ill.
So, go ahead.
In my experience, we reached out. The county deals with all the mental health and mental wellness. Sometimes as we're growing older, and elderly parents are realizing that they can't do everything they used to do. So there may be issues of depression, or their body doesn't respond the same way, or the medicine is also. Every time they get a different type of prescription, it affects them in a different way, or in combination with other medicine. So we look so much to the County of Los Angeles, the mental health services that are provided for the elderly. We also check in. We talk to each other, my brother, my sister, and I, and say, hey, how did you see this affected, our parents when they took this different combination, or they're not acting the same way, the way they used to it. So we talk to not only to the mental health services, but we also talk to their doctors and say, hey, we're noticing this situation, or we're noticing a different reaction. And then the professional tell us, well, let me change a little bit of their dosage. And we realize that right away. We try to keep on top of that, and we talk to each other. We talk to the doctors to make sure that our parents have a better prescription, so that they're not either sleeping all day or awake all night, or upset or irritated. And we're just constantly monitoring that, talking to each other. That's the advice I would offer. I don't know if anyone else has a different advice.
I wanted to go ahead, Grace.
Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption, Blanca. No, but that is very important as far as behavioral issues with loved ones. Loved one's condition is really taking note of that. We always say, the best individuals to know the different changes are the caregivers, or the family caregivers involved, or the close family and friends that are involved, and making a list of these different changes that you see, because the doctors are not always there to see what's going on. So if you can make a log of, certain points of the day where you notice that there's certain agitation, so making that, and definitely double check with the physician to see if there's anything wrong with the medication, either it's too low, too high, or maybe interfering with other medications as well. But going back to mental health services for the caregiver involved, because like you said, Manuel, that it can be overwhelming and stressful for yourself. You're taking care of your loved one, and now how about yourself? So one of the things is, if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed and stressed out, there are caregiver support groups that are out there so that you can attend regularly, so that you feel more of a sense of support, a community of other caregivers who are going through similar situations. That can possibly help if you feel like you need something more more individual, perhaps one-on-one individual counseling. Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health has collaborated with other agencies throughout LA County to specifically give one-on-one individual counseling for caregivers. There are some criteria, but I would encourage you, if you don't have your own private insurance, to actually speak with a therapist as far as mental health services are concerned. Call LA County Department of Mental Health, and they'll, locate an agency that's within your area.
Yeah, I would like to see a support group. That would be good, because I just need to talk sometimes about it.
Yes. And that's important. You're doing the first step was staying on this call, and so what we could do is let's start with let's give you at the very minimum we'll give you the phone number for the Los Angeles Department of Aging. Because I know you have general questions, but then they can also give you family support for yourself. So it's important that you share with them that you are also in need of being able to have a support group, and they would be a great place to start.
Yeah.
So here's the number for the Los Angeles Department of Aging, and that is area code 213. I'm sorry, it's not toll free.
Yeah, that's right.
213-482-7252. And then I also want to give you the Caregiver Resource Center. They are very helpful, and that's a toll-free number, 800-540-4442.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I want.
And Manuel, you just take care of yourself, and thank you for the call. I want to remind callers to please *3, and that's if you want to pose a question to the speakers that we have this evening. We have Felipe Agredano, and Grace Avila. We're talking tonight about the challenges that family caregivers face. In California, we have about 4 million that are doing this on their own. They haven't, they don't necessarily know where to go and ask for help. And so we just have a poll question that we're asking everybody. We would like to take a poll just for a second here, which is we'd like you to press 1 if you are a caregiver, and press 2 if you're the one who's receiving care. So 1 if you're a caregiver, so if you're taking care of somebody that's elderly and disabled, one of your loved ones, or if you are receiving care yourself. So if we could just ask you to...
Your response has been registered.
And 2 if you're the one that's receiving care. And again, press *3 if you are interested in asking a question. We have another question for the speakers, Jennifer Alpizad, who is in Whittier, and she's taking care of her mother full time, and wants to know, where do I go for help if I can't afford it? So Jennifer, hi Jennifer, this is
hi.
Blanca. I have you live.
Hi, Blanca. Yes, I'm taking care of my mother 24/7 right now, pretty much by myself. Sometimes my son, he lives with me, he helps when he can, but I'm not working. I've been out of work for over 2 years, and I've talked to like 7 social workers. My question kind of relates to the previous caller. Where do you go if you don't? Let's see, my mom doesn't qualify. She's not low income. She's not eligible for in-home supportive services. I took her out of the nursing home without much training, so I don't even feel like I'm a caregiver because I haven't really been properly trained. But even to put her into assisted living or anything like that, it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like your caller said before, you pay someone to watch your parent, but how much am I going to be making in these times? And luckily, one of your people on the board or whatever has a lot of family members to help. But there's a lot of people that I know that are in the same situation I am and are taking care of their own families, so they're not really able to come help with mine because they're taking care of their own families.
So you're asking, where do you go to get somebody to come and give you even respite care, even a break, right?
Well, not a break like your other caller. I need to work, and then if I put her in a home, she needs so much care that it's like $3,000 a month. The retired teacher doesn't make that kind of income a month, but she makes too much for any kind of services because she's not actually low income. So we're stuck in the middle.
Okay.
I can't put her anywhere. I'm not really able to work because she needs care 24/7.
Okay. And so you really are looking for an affordable 24/7 assisted living.
I looked into it. I haven't been able to find anything, and I've talked to like 7 social workers already.
You have?
Yes, because she's, Medicare right now. We have people come in and, help with the bath or physical therapy and things like that, but those people are only here a couple times a week, and it's not like I can leave when they're here.
Right.
To go to a group, who watches my mom while I'm in a group,
Right.
I go to a support group. I'm lucky if I make it to the market.
So, Grace or Felipe, do you want to address this question?
No, I just wanted to say, go ahead, Felipe, sorry.
No, go ahead, Grace. I'll go after you.
Okay, no, this is a very difficult situation, and like you just mentioned that the caller before has come in a similar situation, and like I said, in your situation, we hear this all the time, we see it all the time where, the person who needs the care cannot qualify or does not qualify for those public assistance benefits, but yet, you don't make a lot of money to afford that type of placement of care. So now what? What do I do? These are all things, like I said, that is something that we would need more of a thorough evaluation. But one of the things is, again, like what Felipe has said, really looking out to, close family members and friends, the community, to see if there's anything at least temporarily to kind of help with this. This is a very difficult situation. As you can see, I can't really answer it because, a lot of it, obviously, it's, financial based when we're talking about placement. And if one doesn't have the public benefit to maybe perhaps place in a nursing home and one doesn't have the financial resources to actually afford the private pay assisted living, this is very difficult. A lot of the things we try to do within our center is really investigate all avenues and figuring out if there's any other ways. Yes, there is a temporary respite to at least give you some relief so that you don't feel so overwhelmed and exhausted. That's one of the things that you have to first recognize is you don't want to burn yourself out, if that has not already happened already, is making sure right now to implement a little bit of respite per week for you yourself, just to get a break into trying to get that recharge of energy to, to provide that care for your loved one. And also, just to get a break for yourself, just like anyone, getting a break is always healthy. But yeah, this is one thing that requires more of a further investigation to figure out what exactly, in terms of assets, financial situation, what the picture looks like now, and see if there's any other avenues. Because there are.
So where would be a good place?
What was that?
Yeah. Where would be a good place for her to start then? I know she's talked to several social workers.
Yeah, it depends. Like if you're talking to the social worker within the hospital setting, it's different. Like I said, a caregiving support or caregiver support center, whether it be ours or another one, we do more of the thorough assessment, of what exactly is going on and what those resources are. A hospital setting is much different than what the caregiver support setting is like. And one of the things is trying to get more of that further investigated to see what community resources or agencies are out there that can possibly help you with your specific situation. Because I don't want to bring hope saying, there's a solution to your specific situation, but you never know. You never know
right.
until it's further investigated. So I don't want to say completely, no, there's no help. But I do want to offer the opportunity, to give us a call, because we go through these phone calls, and like I said, we have clients who for some reason or another, even though they are not impoverished to qualify for public benefits, but yet they don't have a huge amount of money to pay for it, but we were somehow able to discover other avenues for this.
So is there a number that we can share with Jennifer? We're running close to the end of the hour, and I want to take one more call. Go ahead.
Definitely. So the number you can call us at is 855-872-6060. And I'll repeat that again, 855-872-6060.
Okay. Thank you. And Jennifer, good luck to you. We're running very close to time. I wanted just to ask one more, or ask everybody to remember they can, we want you to share your story, your caregiving story. And what we're saying is we want to know if you're willing to share your caregiving story. AARP wants to know, and that is we will be able to call you right back. We would like to share the information about the website that we have so that you can put that story on our website. We have hundreds of stories that people have shared on our AARP website, which is the www.iheartcaregivers.com. So if you want to share your story, if you can, press 1 on your phone right now, and then we'll contact you to tell you how to access that website. And again, press 1 if you would like for us to contact you and share your personal caregiving story. And the last question before we're going to have to close this call is that we have a woman by the name of Yolanda who says she's taking care of her mother, wants to know where she can, her mother's bored at the senior center. Where else can she go that is free and more interesting and can make more friends? And again, they're in the LA area. I think that's a good question.
I'd like to take that one.
Go ahead.
Just to quickly also answer Jennifer's question in terms of what resources we have. Look within your family. You know that in our family, my brother was living in Portland, Oregon, and he had to make a readjustment. He came back to Los Angeles. And sometimes we're fortunate. Sometimes we can work from home. We can, stay with a parent. I can work from a Starbucks or work from home. Work from my mother's house and stay with her. And we'll alternate and we'll rotate so that we are not so that we're not burnt out also from the helping. Make sure that we're healthy, that we're taking care of ourselves as well. And in terms of other social networking and social avenues, I would encourage you to look at what's happening now around the LA basin. If you go online, if you go to LA Times, you go to LA Weekly, find different things, different events that are free. For example, right now Posadas is going on at Alvarez Street. Mm-hmm. There are other events, tons of holiday events. Every legislator, your representatives, your county supervisors, there's a free concert for Christmas. One of the best entertainers in Los Angeles and Hollywood will be performing there. There's all kinds of different free events at the beach, in your community, at your local city hall, with your state rep. A lot of events every week that are family friendly, that are intergenerational, where you can take children and you can take seniors and you can take everyone in between. It's just looking at those resources and being creative. Me and my brother and my sister were constantly looking at events that are intergenerational, from my 4-year-old niece to our 70-year-old parents, and something that the whole family can enjoy. Many things out there that are free, the beach, the parks, the library, city hall, the county. It's just looking for them, taking 15, 20 minutes to research that and find those social events.
Well, thank you both Grace and Felipe this evening. I wanted just to close our call now. I think that, again, we want to remind individuals that everyone on the call, there is the Caregiver Resource Center information. We have a lot of tools and tips for caregivers, both in Spanish and English. For the Spanish speakers, it's 1-888-971-2013. That's 1-888-971-2013, and that's if you need for Spanish speaker operators. For English, it's 1-877-333-5885. Again, 1-877-333-5885. And I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening for the Tele-Town Hall on the caregiving, and especially in the Hispanic Latino community, where we know that this is part of our journey, but we don't need to do it alone. I want to thank Felipe Agredano for his wonderful story, and Felipe, I wish you luck in this journey. And Grace, Avila,
thank you so much
being on a guest on this show. So, no, thank you both very much. This was wonderful, and we wish you all well. So, for those of you on the phone, happy holidays, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.